Hey guys, it's Medieval Misconceptions. Alright, so today we're talking about the roles of women in the Renaissance. So the upper class could marry, and that required a dowry, which was a payment made so that the husband didn't have to just work up to pay for her. There was a payment to help him out. And because they were super expensive, because it's another person, a lot of girls would just become a nun because their family couldn't afford for them to get married. And a lot of women married in their late teens and men married in their 30s. So because they married at such a young age and men married at an older age, a lot of women became widows. So women in the upper class were expected to take care of the house, educate the kids, have kids, and look pretty, and always be sophisticated, look good, and host parties, and all this fancy people stuff. So they were not allowed to work. So they didn't work, they didn't breastfeed. Those were just looked upon as lower class things, and if you did them, it's just not okay. So the middle class, however, worked in the shops if they worked at all. They had some fancy things, not as much as the upper class did. They took care of the houses, they cooked, they nursed, they had kids, and they were also in charge of educating them up until they would go to school if they could. The lower class, however, it really sucked if you were in the lower class because you had a really hard life with farming or being a servant. You could either be a servant in the city or to the nuns and help them out. You would take care of the house, you would have kids, teach the kids, because they probably weren't going to get to go to a good school, if at all, and do the cooking. And so a lot of the women, because they couldn't make ends meet, turned to prostitution. It really sucks. That's not at all okay to be a prostitute, so that way you can feed your kids. So women married in their teens, like I said, and so it was okayed by the church to be married at 12. That's the age that we are, and that's crazy and weird. Being married now, weird. So because of this, they also became really targeted by older men as women became older and into their teens. So it was the mother's and the family's job to protect her and make sure that she wasn't going to be harassed in any way. And so the upper classes could do this a lot. They could supervise any contact she had with men, make sure when she met with a suitor that it wasn't some weird creepo, and that everything was okay. But the lower class did not have this luxury as much. So when they were working out with the field, there was the story of this one girl who was working out in the field and she got raped, and she drowned herself because she was so ashamed. And just things like this are really not okay in the Renaissance, but they were normal. So, there wasn't much that people could do about them. So that was roles of women in the Renaissance. And this was Medieval Misconceptions. Peace out.